So, dude, you've blown up on the scene pretty fucking fast. Would you grow like 2K last like week?
I think so. I'm not too sure. I started posting like probably like I think 3 weeks ago, and then I posted one video. I was just bullshitting because the previous video I was just doing random stitches with people. I just wanted to like yap and give my opinion. And then one video I made about this DM conversation I had with this girl, and that actually blew up, and I got like 1,000 followers from that. And then I just started talking more and stuff like that just for fun. But yeah,
No, that's sick. It sure beats the stupid ass loyalty test bullshit that people were doing on the internet. Like, I feel like that shit is so fucking played out.
is that like super saturated? I think I've only seen like one person do that.
It's a little bit played out across different niches, right? So like there's this idea that people call like the brown community or like brown TikTok or whatever. There's like one dude who does it there. But there's this
Yeah.
other dude, this black player dude. This he always talks about like having a girlfriend but constantly cheating or whatever. But he does loyalty tests
Oh,
for people.
Nigel's?
Yeah, yeah.
Or is that,
Yeah.
I love that guy, bro.
Dude, he's in a massive beef with the soft guy era kids right now.
I saw that, and honestly, like I'm torn because, for one, like I've been a soft guy. You know what I mean? Like once I like, that's me. Like I'm 100% on their side. Like I get my shit paid for. Like I don't pay for dates. Like I don't pay for anything. So to see him on the other side of that, it kind of breaks my heart because I love him and he's been the GOAT for like a while. So I'm not really sure. Literally, a person just commented on my video that I posted, asking me my thoughts on that exact situation. So
Oh.
I don't know.
So you just got into this like shot shaping shit on a whim. Honestly, like makes sense. It doesn't seem like too planned out or whatever, but it's honestly pretty fucking funny.
It is funny, bro, and that's the thing. There was like another one, which was super dumb. It was like I think it was from my friend, and we were actually both like extremely hungover. Like I was still drunk from the night before, and he showed me this girl's profile, and I was looking at the profile, and I just kind of just did not like the way her face looked. Right, like I literally thought she was medium ugly. So I was like, shit, like that's the line. So I was like, you're medium ugly, but I like that. As a complete meme, it turned out working, and I posted it for the internet like a few months later because I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, this is funny too. I already got the one video. Let me post this. And now people are DMing me saying, yo, I used the line, and it's always the fucking medium ugly. I'm like, yo, what is going on? But I mean, it worked, so I don't know.
No, like legit, like that's the line people are going in with.
Yeah, that's the line. I get like all these DMs, and like for most people, it does not work. You know what I mean? But one guy it does. I mean, at the end of the day, you can literally say whatever you want if you look good.
That's what I was gonna
And
say. We don't gotta bullshit. Like you gotta come up with a line that fits your like status in the world, right? Like you got the looks, you got the clout, something like that. You gotta hit them with a line that's like adequate to that. Like, bro, if you hit a girl with "Where's my hug at?" and you're not like a good looking guy, you're gonna get hit with the "Yo, you're a creep." Like, get the fuck away from me. You're disgusting. But like a dude who's like 7, 8, 9 out of 10 hits you with like "Yo, mama, where my hug at?" And it's like suddenly she's super into it. So you definitely have to be like very careful about the lines that you're picking based on like who you are. Like for example, literally yesterday, I was on Twitch with my boy, and it was like, "Yo, like there's this girl Greta." We're like, "Dude, damn, like honestly, like girls like Greta with the name Greta, they're either super bad or they're crazy ugly with a fat ass nose." So I just hit her with like, "Damn, the name Greta, like low key fine as fuck, or just the ugliest woman in the world." And she just hits back with interesting take. Like, why the fuck would she respond to that? Like, realistically?
I think like there is an aspect of it. Like if you're just somewhat confusing, like you know what I mean. Like you're like almost like so intriguing that like you have to ask why. But like I mean, if there's no attraction, that's as far as it's gonna go.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like they're gonna figure it out, and that's gonna be that. Like people will DM me now. It's like I'm getting a bunch of DMs from like the TikTok stuff, and it's like now it's like, yeah, you could if you're like super super. I'm gonna respond, but like if you're hitting me with a crazy line, like crazy creative line, I'm gonna look at that, I'm gonna laugh, and I'm gonna think like, wow, what a great line. But like, at the end of the day, it's not gonna go any further than that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know, that's actually a perfect segue. I was gonna say, like, you ever find yourself just like swiping on a fat chick, just swiping right, giving like a crazy pick a chance for a while?
No, no. Fuck no, dude. I'm not
Dude,
doing that.
that's the difference between you and me, right? Like, some people are good Samaritans, like, you know, they do jury duty, they go out, they pick up the trash, things like that. My good Samaritan activity is swiping right on fat hoes. Because you got to understand like the reasoning behind it, right? Because it's so quintessential. You give them like this sense of cruel optimism. They're like, damn, like I could really pull that. Like that's crazy. They get really invested into it. You're talking to them a little bit, and then you hit them with the ghost. Now, might sound cruel, might sound crazy, but once you hit her with the ghost, she goes on a transformation arc, bro. She goes on her glow up era. She's like, damn, like this heartbreak, it changes her into a different person. She sheds off the weight. If she had a good build before, shit. Like you might as well just take credit for changing her fucking life.
Well, huh.
You never thought about that,
So
huh?
I feel like you're just going about it in a roundabout way. Like you could just straight up call her fat. You know what I mean? And then I think that's just gonna like I don't feel like you got to do the whole hitting on her thing. I actually tried to post a video on that because that's what worked for me. I tried to make a video and it was just gonna be this long drawn out. I was like, fat shaming works. Like this is it 100% work. And like you got to think about it, bro. Like your parents, people, they're gonna shame you for everything else. Like you come back, you fail your test, they're not gonna be like, oh, you know, that's beautiful in a way. You know, they're not gonna say that. They're gonna be like, you fucking failed the test. Like, what are you doing? Study for the test. But now all of a sudden we're like dancing around hurting people's feelings and like we're not straight up. And I wanted to talk about this especially because Indian culture is a beautiful culture. You know, our people are very welcoming, you know, extremely hospitable. When you travel overseas, people are extremely kind to you. But one of the quintessential problems is that in our niceness, I feel like it gets just a little drawn out because like when people are eating, you know, they always want to give you more food because they're so generous. Like, oh, eat more, eat more. And always in my mind as a kid, I'm eating my food and I'm full. They're like, no, 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 keep eating. No, 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 keep eating. And then they don't want you working out. They don't want you in a gym. At least my parents, they're like, yo, don't work out. Like as a kid, you know, growing up, they're like, don't do that. You know, just do some body weight stuff, whatever. We're not really taught health. So I think that's what's been hurting us, I think, compared to other cultures.
You think it's I think it's a focus and maybe like a distraction away from well-roundedness, right? I feel like as an Indian, we prioritize being intelligent over anything else. We can sacrifice everything else as long as intelligence hits a certain quota, you get a good job. But by then it's already too late. The damage has already been done. Years of neglect on your body, years of neglect in social skills, appearance, anything pretty much outside of intelligence compounds over itself because we're always like, oh, we can do this later. Like after you get a good job, you can get married. After you get a good job, you can get healthy. After you get a good job, you can worry about what you actually want to do. So I don't think it's just about not being taught, but it's willful ignorance and neglect of those things that compounds over time so that when you finally realize that those things are important, it's like at a point where you're undoing decades worth of damage.
I want to really agree with you there, especially about the part where, you know, we're not taught emotional intelligence. All we're taught when we're growing up is okay, study this, okay, do that. And I know kids that are extremely smart. You know, they're extremely smart, but they're just socially awkward. You know, they can't hold a conversation. They can't look you in the eye. Like, you know what I mean? And if you don't have that, if you're not emotionally intelligent to an extent, you're not ever going to climb the corporate ladder or whatever ladder you're trying to grow. Like, emotional intelligence is one of the most important things that you have to be adept in, but yet so many people lack it. And it's easy.
It's reasonable, but I feel like it's not a unique problem. I think it might be like a larger gender problem. It also like parlays pretty well into the question I asked earlier or like what we were talking about earlier, which was like, telling a girl like she's fat, I just don't think it works. I don't know if you've seen the discrepancy in the way that women are motivated compared to the way that men are motivated. So men often see like this David Goggins, like cruel, like you're fat, you need to get your life together, this is what you need to do, you're a lazy piece of shit. But women kind of like gaslight themselves into acceptance of their situation. They're like, you're perfect, you're pretty, you're gorgeous, and that becomes a spur of motivation. Usually when you like insult someone specifically of the female gender, they don't respond well to that, I don't think.
Well, I don't think anybody's truly gonna respond well to an insult, right? Like even dudes, like if you're like if you just call a random fat dude fat, he's not gonna be like, oh yeah, I gotta go, I gotta get motivated, like whatever. It has to be specific, and I'm also not like because dude, some people could like honestly take their own lives because of something that you say to them because of that. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
bullying is very real, like that's very real. I'm just saying that we I agree with you. I just don't think that we should be celebrating it, but I do think that there should be a better way to go about it. And like we're almost glorifying it to the extent, like especially what I see on like women TikTok and stuff like that. They're like, oh, everybody's beautiful in their own way, but to an extent, it's like you're just glorifying obesity, and this is actually going to take a serious toll on your health and your overall life expectancy.
Yeah, I think that we think very similar there. I think I kind of want to ask you about looks maxing as it comes to Indians. I've had a lot of like random encounters with these looks maxers, a lot of which, actually, surprisingly, a lot of looks maxers are Indian, but there's a large majority of their group that say it's over for you if you're Indian. So, what do you think about that?
I don't think so. I think that maybe we are at a somewhat of a slight disadvantage. I mean, me personally, I can only speak anecdotally. I can't speak for everybody, but when I would try to use moisturizer, like whatever, like take care of my hair and stuff like that, my dad would be like, "Oh, that's gay," or like, you know what I mean? It's like, "What are you doing?" So I wasn't really taught like, I would be clean, of course, blah blah blah, but I wish I was told, "Hey, do this, do that, do well in school. Also, take really good care of your appearance." You know what I mean? Like stay fit, like whatever you have to do, skincare routine, all this stuff. So no, I would disagree with that. I do think that that community is like toxic, and it kind of made me insecure for a long time. But I think you just got to take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
Dude, I think it's actually just ridiculous. At a point where I kind of gotten attractive in general sense, I started getting comments like, bro, are you even fully Indian? Bro, you look Hispanic. There's an ongoing joke in my community actually that I'm like, whatever percent Ethiopian, because of just like the inability for some people to contend with the fact that an Indian can be attractive. Don't you think that's like insane?
Oh no, 100%, dude. Yeah, I remember being told it's like, oh yeah, like you look good for an Indian, or you're the first Indian I got with, and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, like that. First of all, that's just out of pocket, right? Like, second of all, like I do see somewhat where they're coming. Like I was just in New York City. I went to the USA India cricket match,
Yeah.
and I was there, and I saw all so many beautiful faces, bro. Like dudes, you know what I mean? Like they could have been like complete chads, whatever, like maxed out, but like they were just held back by like a lack of skincare routine, or like not going to the gym or stuff like that, dude. Like they're just held back, and I think that if they did truly try to work on their appearance, like we could just completely dissolve the stereotype. But I think our values are just held elsewhere.
We got a person in the chat said, how do you get a defined body from being skinny fat?
Um, so you're gonna want to recomp, in my opinion. If you're skinny fat, I have some videos up on that exact thing. But really quickly, if you're skinny fat, that means you don't really have much muscle on you, and you're predominantly just fat hanging on to you. So you're going to want to hop in a calorie deficit, and then you're going to jack your protein super high, and you're going to start working out. And with that, you're going to increase your muscle mass in your body, while simultaneously decreasing the fat. And the only reason this works is because you were new to lifting. Like later on in lifting, you can't just recomp. You're gonna have to hop on a bulk. You're gonna have to hop on a cut. But with the deficit, and in addition to the weight training, you're gonna gain muscle mass and reduce fat. It's gonna keep you somewhere around the same weight, depending on how much fat you actually have or how skinny you are. And then that's going to lean you out. And when you get to a leanness that you desire, probably around 14, 15%, maybe even 10%, then you can bulk up from there. But if you just want to get defined, like you want to get toned, I would suggest doing a recomp.
Ace, is it bubblegum pink or roast beef brown? Bro, these comments, bro. I swear to fucking God. Do the Tyler dance. That one's a good one too.
What is that?
The shit that's been going on recently where chicks, you don't know that song? That's been like everywhere.
No, I don't think I do.
Damn, bro, missing out. It's a perfect segue though. You would you say that you've stepped into success with girls recently, or has it been like a building thing?
Yeah, this is honestly, that's a great question, because I didn't lean out like that skinny fat guy question asked. Like I didn't lean out and like I think look better until about maybe a year ago.
Damn.
Or maybe 2 years ago. I'm not really sure. But the thing is, people are like, "Oh, dude, it's easy." Like they'll look at me now and be like, "Oh, it's easy," like whatever. Bro, I was swinging out of my league for like maybe 6+ years, and it's because I've always had a mentality that I could do anything. And people are like, "Oh, you're cocky," like whatever. You know how many places that's gotten me into? Like just believing, honestly, that you can do anything. People call it a God complex, whatever. That's gonna get you into so many places that you couldn't have gone before. I would much rather 10 out of 10 times have a God complex. And I'm not saying be rude to people. I'm not saying treat people like you're better than them.
Oh, I'm saying fuck them. I'm saying just
everyone.
go ahead and do it. Just fuck it.
No. What's very important is you have to treat everyone with kindness, right? Very kind to everybody, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying you have to believe that you can literally do anything. So that's given me confidence, and I've had that confidence for as long as I can remember. And I think that's partly due to my mom or whatever, thinking that I can do anything, like the unconditional love, blah, 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 maybe led into some narcissistic tendencies. But yeah, so I think with girls, it's been that way regardless of how I looked. Like if anything, maybe the bodybuilding and stuff made it worse, because now I'm like more insecure than I was before, because I caught a glimpse of what I'm capable of. And going back and forth, they're like hopping in cycles of bulking versus cutting. My bulking, my face swells up, like my confidence shits the bed, versus when I'm cutting. So there's that as well.
That's facts. So you said you were just pulling outside of when you had your physique set for like years, right? Because you had confidence in yourself, essentially.
Yeah. Like I literally thought I was the king of the world. And I'll look back at photos of myself now and be like, oh my God, what was I thinking? You know what I mean? But you're always going to be thinking that, because hopefully you're looking better and better as time goes on. But I've just had that complex to myself where I think I can just do anything. And if I'm at a bar, if I'm in New York City or stuff like that, and there's like a VIP, I'll just walk right up. And like, yeah, obviously maybe sometimes they'll say no, but if you walk up with enough confidence, they're going to let you in. Like I always think the worst that they can say is no. And sometimes they do say worse, but it's like, whatever. Like, if you don't like me, whatever, somebody does. So I'm just going to keep doing my thing.
I preach the same shit. When do you think that confidence becomes like, because in the United States at least, especially for cold approaching or like not necessarily already being acclimated with the girl that you're approaching, there's always, you run the risk of, oh, this dude's creepy, like you're going too far, even if you're just like going up to a girl. So how do you think guys can circumvent that? Because that seems to be the main reason why young guys aren't approaching women anymore or showing interest in women in a normal way rather than just stalking them digitally or DMing them.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that, one, I don't use any dating apps. Like I don't, because I just don't like them. So if I find a girl cute, I'll go up and I'll say what's up, whatever. if you're worried about looking creepy or something like that, I would say maybe wait for some sort of signal. But if you go up and you're like, "Hey, how are you? What's your name?" and she isn't receptive, like if she kind of looks slightly put off, "All right, nice to meet you," walk away. You know what I mean? That's that. You don't have to see it through completely, but you might as well try it. But usually, if a girl, I don't know, is interested, she'll give you a sign. Maybe she'll look at you, maybe she'll smile, whatever. But they're also really good at being indifferent. So I have friends that are like, "Oh yeah, he's really cute, but I would never look at him." You know what I mean? Like I would keep my head down. I'm gonna avoid him. So I mean, dude, if you're worried about looking, dude, who cares? You know what I mean? Just leave. I mean, obviously, don't push it, but you might as well try.
I like to tell guys, at least the thing that has helped me a lot, is to go and approach a woman with no intention whatsoever. When you're starting cold approach, like literally just go talk to her like a normal person. Don't try to get the number. Don't try to like go as far as like establish some sort of dynamic. Just talk to her as a human being. Walk away before you even get the chance to like get to, oh, where's the number? If she's interested enough, obviously she'll ask for the information, right? But that's how you can steadily get to a point where you feel comfortable going to talk to women, where you don't feel the pressure of like, oh, I have to get her number, oh, I have to get her Snapchat, things like that.
Yeah. And even outside of that, I think that you should talk to everybody. Like, literally just talk to everybody. This whole Chipotle thing is going on, right? Where there's like no portions, like whatever, and I would be so upset because I was on a bulk. I was eating Chipotle every day, and I'm going in there and I'm like, oh my god, like I just gotta suck their dick for like more food. You know what I mean? Like, oh please, like what's up, boss man? Like what are all these little things? And then I was like, let me just talk to them. So I learned their names. Hey, what's your name? Nice to meet you. Whatever. I keep going. I keep frequenting the same location. You just talk to every single one of them, banter with them a little bit. I think you should flirt with everybody. And then I'm just getting food for free or half off. Like they gave me the employee discount every time I go because I made friends with them. I know all of their names. I remember their names. Or they'll just slide it to me for free. So if you want to build your confidence talking to women, I think build your confidence first just talking to everybody. And in situations where there's no expectance of like any sort of flirtationship, you know what I mean? Like talk to the person at your coffee shop, talk to the person at Chipotle, talk to the person that you're standing next to at the bus stop. You know, just build strength practicing with random people, and that's going to help you, obviously, with whatever girl situation you want.
And people misidentify what flirting is too, bro. Like rushing a fraternity is like guy flirting, bro. Like that's exactly what it is. You're trying to get a guy to like you. You're trying to find similarities. It's the same dynamic. But I will say, low key, I started to get to know my Kava employees, and they low key started fucking me. So you don't always get the promised like more portions. They get distracted by the conversation. They're low key giving you half a spoon. I'm like, dude, like, are you fucking kidding me? But neither here nor there. You should definitely try to flirt with everyone, right? But there's a benefit across the board. It doesn't make you gay.
Right.
Uh, yeah, that's chill. I noticed you said you don't use dating apps. I think it takes the lure out of like meeting people because like you don't really want to say like, not even that. Low key, I went on my first date in Austin, and my fucking friends, they were like, "Oh my god, is it a Hinge date or Tinder date?" I was like, "Dude, I fucking met this girl while I was hanging out with y'all." Like, there's just like this stigma associated with dating apps that you just don't want associated with it anyway, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think most of my friends have met their significant others either through a friend of a friend or out in person, like a group hangout or something like that. Not really too much through dating apps. So I can't really speak to any stigma because I don't really know people um, that use them. I mean, I know people that use them and they're just for hookups or whatever like that. So I don't know.
Damn.
I mean, if that's the
Really?
thing, yeah, go for it.
What area do you stay in? Like, give me your general vicinity, because that's like
I mean,
completely new to me. New York?
yeah.
I honestly, I have a friend who uses dating apps pretty heavily because for whatever reason, his situation, the place that he's in, as how young he is, kind of means that he doesn't meet people his age who would have like the mental complexity. I can't really say like what company he works for, things like that, but let's just say like for how young he is, the job that he's working, the situation he is in, the people he's meeting are very different from how he would be. So a dating app essentially gives him the portal to talk to people who might have like a similar problem, similar set of like traits or whatever like that, right? Because realistically, what the internet is supposed to do is connect you to people that you would have never met otherwise, increase opportunities, open doors in a way that you probably wouldn't have had. The only issue with that is that it also takes away the random like coincidences that happen in real life that you can't exactly replicate online.
Yeah, I think meeting somebody serendipitously is just eons better than going on a dating app and then seeing their profile, whatever, swiping on them. But I don't really use them, so I can't really speak to that. That's just my personal take.
That's facts. What are your favorite opening lines for when you send DMs? I don't know. I'm not a big like slider on Instagram or something like that. I just feel like it low key just gets shot in the dust. It also sets like an expectation of like, oh, this dude's trying to come at me. Like I have like, I don't know, whatever. But
Um, I mean, it depends. I'm not really like a straight up like cold approach demon. Like I'll maybe DM people that I've maybe already seen in real life or maybe spoken to. Taking cold shots, I feel like you just have to take a bunch of them if you're gonna get good at it, and it's always just gonna be hit or miss because at the end of the day, it just depends on how you're viewed. You know what I mean? Like if they're interest. Have you seen the meme where it's like a super hot guy and then like an ugly guy,
yeah,
and it's like a good opener and it's like hey, and then like bad opener it's like hey. You know what
right.
I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like I don't really sit there like sending shots. That's just not my thing. But I will review them and I will see how you
So,
can do better. Because if you do look good and you want to stand out a little bit, like if you can show you're funny, you're in. You know what I mean? So I try to like put a little humor into it. Also show you're interested, something like that. Nothing too crazy. But if you want to get out of pocket, you can. And if she's interested, you guys will hit it off like that. You know, so use your own measure. Again, people are worried about looking creepy or whatever. So take that with like a grain of salt.
dude, with the shot shaping shit, I just expected you to be a cold approach demon because it just doesn't make much sense to expect you to be like, oh, like I'm very calm. I meet people in the wild. Low key, I don't really take my shot, but when I do, it's like real selective. To just being like, yo, like you're fucking up with this chick.
Most of what I do is I'll do it for my friends. So my friends will ask me, they'll be like, hey, like the one about the medium ugly, my friend was like, yo, I need your help.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's asked me like quite a few times for other stuff. And I'll look at the profile, I'll figure something out and I'll shoot. But personally, I'm not shooting that much because I'm chilling. I'm not really too worried about it. Like the people that I meet them, I'll hit them up. If they're cool, they're cool. I'm not really like a multiple girls at once. Also, I'm like extremely obsessive. So if I talk to one girl, like I really like you for a little bit, that's about it. So I mean, but if that's your thing, if you wanna meet people, it's not a bad route. You know what I mean? Like if you're putting up 20 shots a day, like just like sales, if you knock on 20 doors, you know what I mean? Like one of them's bound to open it. You knock on 100, you're gonna get five. Like doesn't not work, you know?
it's facts. Also, volume kind of refines the kinks as well. I don't know. I just feel like genuinely, if you take more shots, you just genuinely get better at the skill of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
100%.
the question we got is, what would you argue is better for a place to live in as a brown person if you had to choose between the two? A white dominated area or a brown dominated area? So like brown dude in like a massively white population or brown dude in an Indian community in the United States?
What's the context for that? Like in what regard?
Which one would you say that you would rather live in? Or like which one would you say that you would choose as a brown person? Honestly, like no, actually fuck that. Fuck that question. That's a fucking weird question. How about which one do you feel like you grew up in? Cuz like why the fuck are you preferring one area over another? It just seems weird.
Yeah. So I grew up in a mostly, I would say like a good mix. Um, a lot of my friends were brought up within the brown community. I also like to talk about this. I think that like if you're ever in like a brown community, I don't know, like your parents hang out with other parents, like whatever. It is so incredibly toxic, like the way that they just compare. Like it's always like a jerk off of like whose kid is better than the other. They're like, oh yeah, my kid got into this. Oh well, mine's doing this. So mine's doing this for, and it's just like this like OD comparison. And then the kids always like, they don't really hear about it too much, but they're always thinking like, or your parents are telling you, oh, his son, what he's doing. He got into the honor roll or stuff like that, and it's so toxic. And I was like, damn, like I hate how it's like that. And then the next thing you know, all the kids are like that too. Whenever I walk into like a public space, I don't know if it's just me, I'll see, like, if you see like black people that have like some sort of camaraderie, they'll nod at each other like, yo, what's up, or something like that. I feel like when I walk into a place, like whether it's like a Chipotle or whether it's the gym or something like that, and I see a group of brown dudes, whatever, it's just almost as if like they're hating me. You know what I mean? Like the way they look at me up and down, like there's no sense of camaraderie. It's always as if like I'm some complete outsider. And I think it's just because we're raised like always like comparing and always try to bring each other down that we're not really too connected. So to answer that question, I don't know, but like I don't want to straight up say
you just didn't even fucking answer the question.
Yeah,
that's fucking hilarious. No, but what you said makes sense. Like, it's true, but I think as a person above the community or above like that fucking petty bullshit, you just got to be the one to squash it. I try to every time I see a brown person just be like, yo, what's good, how you doing? Like, honestly, like it's not even about race, it's more just like vibe, right? Like if I feel like any lingering animosity to someone that I just don't fucking know, I'm like, dude, I don't even fucking know you. Like, why the fuck are you giving me like these eyes? So I'll just be like, yo, dude, what's up? Introduce myself, what's going on, how you doing? And I feel like immediately when you're like that person who opens the gate, they kind of like warm up to it, You also get a little bit of respect for being above like the menacing glare across the room, being like, dude, fuck you type shit.
yeah, no, I agree. I would also say like, yes, that is for like most people, like everybody initially is like kind of cold, like they don't know how to feel about you, but if you greet them with a smile, like you said, like hopefully they're not going to judge you. But I do still think that fares in the brown community.
But the other thing is a lot of people see things antagonistically, but if the one thing that I learned about in this social media shit is quite literally that collaboration is the best like source of success. Like, you fucking dad up a brown dude that you don't even know, you chop it up for like maybe 5 minutes, that dude will introduce you to his homeboy, he'll put you on to the girls in his life. Like, I went to Mexico, met this like random brown dude there, and I just tossed him a fucking McLob that my boy didn't want. And then from there, he was like always trying to put me on the whole time we were there. So it's like, at what point are you just like creating shit out of thin air that doesn't fucking exist, even if someone else thinks it does? Like,
yeah, no, you're right. And like I've been doing this like that, especially at the gym, like new method. All right, it's called like disarm people with your smile. Like I don't, you're ever in the gym and you just see people like, oh, you have like your gym nemesis and they're just like mean mugging you the whole time, like they're staring at you. One day I read the book. It was, I think it was by Dale Carnegie. It was like How to Win Friends, whatever.
Yeah,
great
influence
book.
people. Yeah,
I read it and it was just like smile at everybody, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna smile at everybody today. And I would see people, they're just giving me like this like hard ass look, and I smiled at them. And they wouldn't smile back, and I would just keep smiling at them and nodding my head until like they wavered and they smiled back. And it was honestly kind of like trolling, but at the same time, like I made a lot of friends doing it, just because if you genuinely smile at somebody, like you look happy to see them and you say hello, they're gonna be extremely receptive towards you. And then rather than, because they might be thinking the same thing of you, like, oh, this guy always mean mugs me, you know what I mean? So it's just this back and forth of negativity. So I think that trying to have genuine, meaningful connections with other people is just going to take you so much further than you think.
Shit, I would add one thing to it. Not only smile, but don't be saying some like crazy impulsive thoughts, but the thing that's really helped me get better with people is like somewhat of a filtered intrusive thought mechanism where you like say your intrusive thoughts, but not if they're like crazy. Like if you go up, big smile on your face, make a little jab at someone, and it's like clearly a joke, it's not something that they're insecure about, I feel like they would laugh about it and then you would just become boys over it. Maybe don't do that with girls, but in my opinion, like just like a dude, if he looks like he can take a joke, that's not too crazy. Just like hit him with a little something, expect something back. Easiest way to make boys. In fact, like my friends at college, like we were like, dude, if I didn't meet you on the first day, you would have definitely been my like gym nemesis, or like some dude I just like fucking mean mug across the room because I'd be like, who the fuck is that asshole? Like what the hell? But like that's how you know, like those people do end up being your best friends, and they could have not been if you were just being a fucking dick.
Yeah. Like so many of those people that I thought were just assholes, where I started smiling towards them and like now we're friends. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, honestly, I grew up in a white dominated area, and I think it just changes your perspective a little bit because white dominated areas, there's not too much competition in between them. They're too focused on like having fun all the time, which kind of is like, it has its negatives as well, like not correct priorities, like always causes trouble, but it also teaches you to be able to respect someone and see them outside of the context of just complete competition. I think competition mindedness is what has brought Indians so far, but there comes to a point where your strength becomes your biggest weakness. And I feel like when competition reaches a point where it turns into arrogance and like animosity, that's when it's kind of holding you back more than it's propelling you forward. So you need to be able to embrace the people that you're competing with in a way where it's like, yo, we can be boys outside of this, but while we're in the field, while we're doing our jobs, while we're doing this or that, we can compete and make each other better. So like taking the lessons from both communities is something that I think the most successful Indians do, for sure.
yeah, no, I agree.
Thoughts on City Boy JJ? It's funny. What are your thoughts on City Boy JJ? Do you know who City Boy JJ is?
I don't know who that is, bro.
Hold up.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what it is about my videos. I don't know if it, like because I don't use any hashtags and I never use captions. But my videos just been getting super pushed to like the brown community. But I don't know who any of these people are. Like
Let me see if I can find it.
actually like even you. I didn't know who you were until before you hit me up. This guy commented on one of my videos. He asked me for my thoughts on you, and I didn't know who you were. And then you hit me up, and then I was like, "Oh, it's this guy," but I had no idea.
My brother
I don't
showed
know
me
his
your
name.
videos, low key. It's kind of funny.
Sorry,
I said my brother showed me your videos.
how old is he?
It's like fucking. What is he now? What's that little shit's age? 16?
16. Okay.
Let me see. How the fuck do I get your face in this? The fuck? I mean, you can see my screen, but I can't, like, get up. Ah, it doesn't fucking matter.
Tiny, please help me. No, I'm sorry.
But I can, my child.
Let me see if I can find, like, a real video, bro. Just being a fucking idiot. Like, this is
I'm
bro
here
right
with-
here.
If you had one wish, what would it be?
My wish? I really want to get pregnant. Pregnant.
He makes, like, satirical videos, essentially, on the internet that are meant to
Yeah.
come off as cringy. But because he kind of laughs at himself and he acknowledges that they are cringy, for example, saying shit like finest brown boy in the world, or like just doing some like crazy shit, like saying his name really weird, he gets a lot of attention and views off of it. Also the fact that, you know, like in Canada right now, that Toronto accent is really going crazy on the internet because it's so fucking peculiar.
See, I don't know that creator, but I do want to talk about one, and I also want to talk about a comment on
Like
one of
the
my.
Raj twins.
No, I think his name is Farsi. But,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'll address the comment first, and then I'll go into that. So this guy commented on one of my videos. It was just this stupid comment. And he was like, "What curry?" And I'm like, "What?" It's just something about curry. And I opened his page, and this guy's brown too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it made me think about it, and I responded to him. I was like, "Yo, this is holding us back. Like, I need you to do better." And then he's like, "Oh, but you're making TikToks, you're making whatever." So I go into him in a video, whatever, I post that video, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm like thinking, I'm like, it's not just him, bro. It's so many people, and especially like if you're a top content creator, like I don't know how much that Farzi guy has, like all of his skits are just pure caricatures of what white people think that Indians are. And if that isn't setting us back like so far, I don't know what is. Like we're talking about the hate that Indians get and like why our stereotype is there and like why people are we look at them and they're like, oh yeah, the one race you wouldn't date, and like this isn't helping. Like the fact that your entire profile is based off of like an insane Indian accent, and you're literally just making fun of your own culture. And then all these white people are liking it. It's like, oh my God, this is so funny. Like, that's definitely what Indians are. It's like 7-Eleven skit, or like, oh, beta, like, why didn't you do your homework? It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, I get it. Like, that's your livelihood. But at the same time, like, I think you're like the biggest sellout of all time.
Dude, some people just don't care. Like, genuinely, they only see a problem insofar as it affects their livelihood, which was the case with him. He said he took a step back from doing like those belligerently like self-hating videos to do more like micro hate videos, right? So like things like replicating the Indian accent or making like weird like stereotype exaggerations, things like that, right? To a point where it's like, oh, like this dude's not too on the nose about it. Or his new convenient way of avoiding criticism, making fun of his own religion. So it's like, like I don't identify. I honestly like I don't identify with this so-called like brown TikTok thing either. I also happen to fall into followers being brown as it is, and I happen to also make videos because one of the things that was really important to me was showing that Indian people don't have to fit the caricature that you're talking about. We can be strong, we can be intelligent, we can be popular, we can be entertaining, we can be all of those things that aren't traditionally assigned to Indians, while also having all the benefits that are already associated with Indians. So at that point, I started talking about like brown people generally and garnered somewhat of a brown audience. But people like Farzi, they won't change their content because the basis upon which their account exists is this internalized self-hatred, right? So to remove it is to essentially remove the foundation upon which all their content is built upon, which is to lose all the fans, lose all the money, lose the livelihood. So even if they wanted to, which I'm not saying they do because I don't think he does either. I personally don't think he cares at all, but he just won't. Like there's no benefit for him, so he won't.
It's honestly like insanely embarrassing because it's like, oh, dude, look, like your own people are doing it. You know what I mean? And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like in my head, I'm like comparing. I'm like, yo, OF daughter or like son TikToker who just makes fun of his own religion and then sells out his own people for views. Because it's like you're just making people laugh at your entire culture and everything. People are gonna be like, oh, you're soft, whatever, bro. Trust me, I'm not soft. Like I literally in that video that I posted, I was like, if you're gonna be racist, make it funny. You know, at least make it funny. Like, please, like, if you're just gonna do some bullshit curry, like, oh, Indians smell, it's like, bro, come on. You know what I mean? Because at that point, you're not funny and you're just weird, and I think you're corny as fuck. And I think a lot of the creators are corny as fuck.
That's just exist. I mean, like when you force out content and you just genuinely don't care about anything else but views, you don't have an idea of where you're going. You start stagnating. Yeah. You start doing like stupid shit that just puts other people back for your own self-benefit. It's honestly pathetic. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But I agree fully with the I mean, like, I tell my boys, too, I'm like, yo, like, if you're gonna be racist, like, do it fucking right. Be funny. Like, do some, like, crazy Indian joke that I will actually think is funny because it's so nuanced and creative. But, like, anything that has curry, like, bro, you didn't even try. Like, you genuinely didn't even try.
Like, we didn't fucking try. Like, come on. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, comedians are racist all the time, and it's fucking hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, Andrew Schultz, he has great bits on, like, Sikhs, like, whatever. One of them was about, like, resting their, because they had, like, wear this band around their wrist, right? To, like, it used to symbolize, like, a sheath or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, then it's, like, to rest on the steering wheel of an Uber driver. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's somewhat creative. But, I mean, it just puts self-doubt into these kids' heads. Because it's like, oh, dude, like, I'm Indian. Like, this kid DM me. He's like, oh, bro, like, I don't know. Like, similar to the question. He was like, I grew up in this white-dominated area, bro. And, like, I'm not sure if girls will like me because I'm Indian and stuff like that. And, like, them seeing this stuff on the internet, which I know they're seeing on the internet, that's definitely not helping. Like, there's no, like, I'm proud to be Indian. We could do this, this, and that. It's always like, oh yeah, Indians smell like shit. What race would you not date? Like, there's just so much hatred towards us on the internet, which it has to take a toll on you, especially if you're a kid.
And a lot of Indian guys who grew up in white populations, they settle, bro. All their friends are with like crazy hot girls and they just end up tanking like the fridge. It's like, bro, what are you doing? You know you don't want to be doing shit like that, but you're doing it anyway just because you want the approval of the people around you. Like you don't have to settle just because you were raised in an environment. There's plenty of benefits that are associated with being Indian in a place where Indians aren't common, right? You get to spread your religion, you get to spread your beliefs, you get to spread your culture. People can appreciate all those things about you and also accept you for who you are outside of like this coded notion of being an Indian in like a white neighborhood. Like you can take all the benefits of those things and also integrate it within your culture to be a more full human being. But a lot of people, they have this like impulse to just erase who they are and then become someone that's more socially acceptable, you know?
Yeah, because they just want to fit in. And like some of the Indian kids that I know, like they won't even think about dating Indian girls or talking to Indian girls. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
like the younger kids.
Right.
And I'm telling you, like I'll tell you right now, if you're younger, like you're a younger viewer, like you're in like early high school or maybe even like middle school or something, the best investment you can make, like Warren Buffett level investment, like getting in Bitcoin in 2002, wife that brown girl up immediately, bro, because she will have the craziest glow up of all time by the time you're in college. So lock into that.
I mean, I'm not gonna second that notion immediately. I'd say like there's some brown girls that are already like they're already putting out. Like they're honestly like making moves at the age that you are. Like you just don't need to be like invested in anything. I feel like a lot of people they're surrounded by maybe like a couple brown girls, so they think like, oh, all brown girls are like not that hot or attractive. And because you see on in Hollywood, you see all these like gorgeous, stunning girls of other races, you think like, oh, like that surely can't be Indian women. Just because you don't see representation right in front of you, not only does it mean that they don't exist, but it also means that you have the opportunity to see beautiful brown women that no one else in your community will have seen. So just like don't go in with crazy expectations just based on your limited knowledge because you think you know something in like the first 10 years of your life. I promise you, there's more to the story than you know. Brown women are beautiful. There's plenty of media representation if you do want to find those things. But when you get into a cycle of hate, where you're like, oh, brown women suck, brown people suck, I want to be around people who are not my race, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And like just like you said in Hollywood, I mean, you look at the roles that brown people are cast in, it's always like the nerd or like the dork or like something that like fits our stereotype. I mean, like maybe just in like the past year in Hollywood, I think there was like a film like Monkey Man, which already the title is insane, but you know what I mean? It was a good, I think, Jordan Peele film. But like Indians also are extremely colorist, and nobody really talks about that. Like people say like, oh yeah, we're really chill, like whatever. Extremely colorist. Like number one used to be number one Indian brand, like right, Fair and Lovely, like obsessed with toning the color of your skin lighter and lighter. And I watched this Indian serial with my parents. Like I never watched this stuff. My parents had it on, and I'm watching this TV show. I can't remember what the name of it was. I was so shocked. Everybody looked white. You know what I mean? Like the colors of their, like the color of their skin was like, oh, maybe like a white person without a tan. You know what I mean? I'm like, so there's just this huge obsession with European beauty standards, and along with that is the color of your skin, which is also another problem because now darker skinned individuals like South Indians, like they're just gonna catch slack, and they're gonna want to change, you know, their tone through whatever they have to do, like makeup or whatever it is, and it's because of the way we're brought up. So I think that needs to be addressed too.
I think that's a good point, but I wanted to touch on the Dev Patel Monkey Man thing. I think he so overemphasized representation. This is a hot take, but I don't think that representation is as important as people make it out to be. I think that people falsely identify color of skin with a certain characteristic when it's not necessarily true. Just because Megan Fox was hot in Transformers doesn't mean all white women are hot. Just because Dev Patel was the main character in Monkey Man doesn't mean all Indian people suddenly know how to fight, right? You should learn through the media representation that you're seeing, through the values that are assigned, to identify with characters because of what they're doing, what their objectives are, what journey they went through, rather than overemphasizing what skin color they are while they're doing it, which I think is a crazy fallacy. Because one of the things he said is he didn't want to be James Bond because he wanted something for ourselves. He wanted to be Monkey Man. I think to say that an Indian person can't be James Bond seems ludicrous, especially when James Bond is a British person, not to say white, but British as in a nationality rather than a specific color. So when you identify all those characteristics that are associated with James Bond, it can be to someone of a different skin color. It doesn't have to be something new because you're brown, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not one to say that like, oh, we need like diversity and everything, or like we need like a Black My Little Mermaid or whatever that whole thing was. But what I'm saying is that if our only representation, like the only thing that kids see, if they do see a South Asian on TV or in a movie, is that they're in the role of like some weird friend or like a dork or whatever. And like same for fat people. You know what I mean? It's like, what are they cast as? They're cast as like the nerdy friend or like the dork or whatever. So it's just like a negative thing. I'm not saying that we need to be put in every single role to grow. I agree with you. I agree that you should take the objective character of whatever person that you want to emulate and go from there, not necessarily the color of their skin. But also it's like what are you seeing over and over again? Because that plays a subconscious role on your brain.
Yeah, I agree. There's something. Loki just like completely lost it. Fuck. That sucks. Fucking blows. I feel like it was Loki important too. Alright, maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't. I was gonna say, dude, I fucking take over. What do you have to say?
I saw one of your recent videos. I mean, if you want to get into shot shaping, we could talk about it. I don't know if you want to pull it up real quick. I think it was like a message that you shot to a girl.
Yeah. I know what you mean. On my Instagram, right?
No, I think it was on TikTok.
Do you remember what?
I think you messaged her through iMessage.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Fuck. I really wish I could bring up our fucking PUV next to it. But that sucks. See if we can get it. Oh, I have to live stream my screen as well.
My own life experiences, why it's not.
This one, right?
Spending a month in Austin, I got so many girls' numbers, Snapchats, Instagrams, but there was only ever one girl that I genuinely liked.
Yeah, I
so
can't see your
of course,
screen.
That was the one I had to fumble.
You said you can see it, or you cannot?
I can't see it. I can't see your screen.
It should be live streaming. Can you see it now?
I'm on the Discord only.
I know. It should be live streaming it directly to the Discord thing.
Oh, okay, got it.
Facts. All right, can you see it now?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I'm not gonna lie, for a girl I met at a bar, hung out with once, and barely. Ever since spending a month in Austin, I got so many girls' numbers, Snapchats, Instagrams, but there was only ever one girl that I genuinely liked. So of course, that was the one I had to fumble. And I'm not gonna lie, for a girl I met at a bar, hung out with once, and barely even talked to, when everything was said and done, I was pretty torn up about it for a couple days. Call it a canon event for the guys, getting too attached to a chick that you had no business getting feelings for. The part that really got to me was the reason why everything fell apart, because I decided.
Perfect.
Pause that right there. Okay, so is this the first message you sent to her?
No. This is like after conversation, like way after conversation. Maybe like 2 to 3 days of talking.
2 to 3 days of talking. And what are you guys talking about so far?
Well, dude, I got like introduced to her like siblings, kind of. No. Different girl. The situation with this girl is I had been talking with her like very consistently since I met with her. I met all of her friends. Met with all of her friends. talked to her very consistently for the 2 days up till this text message. Like very
you meet
consistently is about
friends.
like I don't know, like frequency, maybe like a snap an hour, maybe a little less.
Okay. So then, out of here, you're saying cringe warning. I can't exactly do one night stands. My situation is a little different. So just nor do I really want to.
Yeah.
Can you tell these chicks to fuck off? They're really annoying me. So what's that about?
So I posted on my Instagram story. Actually, this is bad. So the dude that I went out with had this picture of me getting approached by these like group of girls that was just like absolutely obnoxious. So that was that, and it was posted on my Instagram story as well. So that was the prelude to that. That thing before, I don't know. There's not much context to situate it in outside of been talking for a couple days.
Okay, so you break this down. This is an insane stretch of messages. I'm not gonna lie.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that
Because-
crazy given the situation I was with this girl.
Okay, sure. You're talking for a few days. You met her at the bar. You're cool, right?
Yes.
You saying just right off the bat, right?
I
For
know.
any future things or whatever. Right off the bat, cringe warning is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. That's
that-
bad. That's bad.
That's insane. It's almost like the same thing as like saying, "Hey, sorry to bother you." Like, like
Yeah.
you don't want to start off like that because you're already just putting yourself down.
Facts.
I can't exactly do one night stands. My situation is a little different. So there is also something that I just don't like, especially with girls that I'm not interested in that are texting me, where it's almost like they want you to ask a follow-up question. You know what I mean? Like they'll say something slightly ominously, so they're expecting you to be like, "Oh, what do you mean by that?" or something like that. Rather
Oh
than
no,
just
she
outright saying-
already knows. Like Instagram found already knows about like all the social media stuff.
Oh, okay, so that's what you mean by my situation
Yes.
is a little different.
Yes. Cuz like the context is I also talked to her about like because of the social media stuff, I have to be very careful with the girls that I associate with because of, you know, things like false allegations, things like that.
Right. Nor do I really want to. Can you tell these chicks to? That's probably not the. You know what I mean? Like you're already putting something of like, hey, I'm explaining this to you. First of all, cringe warning. This is kind of crazy. I can't really hook up with you. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
already a lot to digest. And then after that, you saying, can you tell these chicks to fall out there and know me? That's giving like, oh my God, I'm just getting flooded with these girls. You know what I mean? Like, I need them to get away from me, blah, blah, blah. And also, I will call you out. Like, in the beginning of the video, it sounded like that too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you just do that for like comment bait or something, but you started off like, oh, you know, I'm getting all these girls' Snapchats, Instagrams. It just makes you appear as if like, you know, like, it's like a little braggy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
already... Yeah.
It's a bit on the
So-
nose. It's definitely a bit on the nose, you know?
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't approach it like that. I'm just saying that's already a lot to digest. I wouldn't really swing that last one in there too because it's like, yeah, I can't hook up with you. You know, I'm a celebrity. Also, fuck all these girls on my shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's so annoying. So there's that. So was that like the last message?
No, there was like a additional like like we resolved it kind of, you know, like there was a couple. I can't exactly go into what happened after, but we how do I put it in a way that makes sense? Like we don't really talk anymore, kind of. If that makes sense.
You're just done talking to her.
Yes. It's a
Or
good-
do you think, like, was that the downfall of it? Is that where it fizzled out?
right above, maybe, you know, like I think like this was the beginning of the end for sure.
Okay, so where are you guys at right now? Like, should we just try to revive this right now?
No, we're not revived. Dude, this is
Come
like
on.
such a far gone situation. No, you need to understand, like, because like after getting to know her for a while, I realized that her vibe. I tried to make her something that she wasn't, which is what I realized like in like post context, right? Like I realized that she intended for this summer to be like, yo, I just got done with my ex. I'm about to go like feral. I caught her at the wrong moment. I also got the wrong notion on the night that I met her because she was like super infatuated. And to be fair, like I was very interested as well, right? It's not like a one-sided thing. But then like from communicating with her over these like sessions or whatever, I realized eventually that yes, this might not exactly be how I planned it out to be, if that makes sense.
Okay. I understand what you're saying.
So
I
that
mean,
that
first of all,
situation is
already-
so far gone, dude. Like you don't even know. I've thought about it in every way. Situation gone. Like it's not happening.
Yeah. Also, that's just a red flag. Her trying to go feral after whatever relationship. Like I would probably
Yeah.
dodged a bullet there.
The one problem is like I should have picked it up earlier at the bar because the one thing that she was saying was just like, oh, like, so what ethnicity are you? Like, oh, my ex was this, my ex was that. Not like crazy, but like maybe like 2 or 3 times to the point where like I mentally clocked it. I was like, I don't really care. I don't know why she's saying that, but
Yeah.
kind of an issue, you know? Dude, she's fucking definitely gonna see this video or this clip or whatever the fuck. All right, that's great. That's gonna be a very interesting conversation, but nonetheless, like, kind of what happened.
Yeah, it's honestly funny because I've like run into like random people seeing my videos and stuff and like having to deal with that. I mean, and I make videos for fun, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like one of my exes, she was like, "Oh my god, one of my coworkers just saw your video and like they think you're a douchebag, whatever." And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, and I think some people are mad, you know, because like all these girls, they'll try TikTok for so long, and like they'll make these get ready with me, or they'll go do all this, or they'll make vlogs, and they'll get like 10 likes, like whatever, and it's just because like you're not interesting.
No, dude, you
Yeah.
don't even know the half of it. I actually started talking to this girl at Michigan, and like about 2 days later, I find out, like, I don't know, I'm just scrolling on my TikTok page. Fucking, of course, Lululemon tights, like the fucking BBL jacket, posts this shit, goes crazy viral. Like crazy fucking viral to the point where she gets 100K followers. 100K followers off of one fucking video. Goes Hollywood on me. Like legitimately right after that happens. I'm like, bro, like some girls, like, you know, I'm not going to say all girls can go like crazy on TikTok because like obviously the average is the average for a reason, right? But, you know, some of these girls, they go fucking insane. They post one video and it's just different.
Right. But I mean, like, there's no longevity to that. I mean, unless you look really good, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
over time, you're gonna fall off, whatever. But I think that everybody should try to post. Like, all these videos that you're seeing were posted, or like a version of those were posted months or years ago on my private Snapchat story to like my 30 friends.
Oh.
And then 1 or 2 of them were like, "Hey, like these are funny. Like you should post these." And I was always like, "Nah, I'm not gonna post these. Like whatever. Like I'm just not gonna do that. I'm afraid. Like what are people gonna think of me?" And then I posted some. I posted like a first stitch, which got like 20,000 views or whatever. And I hate how that was the turning point for me, because after that I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. I'm gonna start posting it. But I hate why that was the turning point, because it should have been from the very beginning that regardless of the outcome, I'm going to be myself and I'm going to put myself out there. But it wasn't until I started getting validation for what I was doing that I was like, okay, you know, I'm going to move forward with this, which, you know, I'm glad I could recognize that, but I'm also disappointed in myself that I need that to get started. Because what if I didn't get that initially? You know what I mean? Like, would I have given up? I mean, who knows? I mean, it's only been like fucking 3 weeks, so.
Yeah, but it doesn't, in the end, it doesn't really matter. The thing that you have to remember is you can't be chained down to that validation, right? Yes, you started posting because you got some sort of views, validation, followers, etc. But the cruel thing about social media or the things that you post that do well is there's this expectation, or you start to believe like you have to be a person that maybe you're not, right? You may post a video out of the blue that you think like, oh, this is like uncharacteristic, but fuck it, right? Like it's chill. Like I think it's funny. It goes stupid viral. Now you're like, oh, like this is a part of me for sure. Like I want to start doing this. That's why I always say like the hate comments are easy, dude. Like hate comments, You get hated on by your boys, you get hated on by random chicks. It doesn't fucking matter. But the thoughts of validation, people being like, bro, you changed my life, bro, like you really helped me during a dark time. It starts making you post things that maybe you don't necessarily identify with, but falls in line or has themes with another video that did well. And then before you know it, you're not someone that you recognize on the internet than who you are, right?
Right.
So
Right.
that's the pitfall of the internet. Not like the negative comments definitely bring you down, but they bring you back to reality. The positive comments, they inflate you into something that you're possibly not, which is why like I made the hook that's like, oh, I got so many girls' numbers, things like that. Even if that wasn't true, that is who I am in person. Like when I'm telling things to my friends, I'm like, bro, like, dude, you gotta check this out. Austin's like the greatest place ever. Like I've had so much success with women. Even if it comes off like douchebaggy on the internet, that is who I am. When I say that to people, like I know how it comes off, but like that's something so central to me because I think it's funny. I think it's genuinely funny to be like a little bit of an arrogant twat from sometimes, but people to recognize that somewhere, somehow, there is a good bit of like humbleness in me too. If you're willing to see past like this like borderline like fucking ridiculous shit, right? So sometimes people when they get in the spotlight they change themselves because other people are like, dude, like fuck you, like you suck. But I'm like, dude, this is just who I am, so fuck you.
Yeah. And I think that's a great strength that you have, that you are able to just be yourself regardless of comments. Yeah, I mean, I don't get too much hate on my stuff. I think like one was when I posted my physique. I have all these guys like, oh, you gotta hit this or that, and I'm like, all right, whatever. But most of the other videos, like they find it funny, and I just do those for fun. And then like when I tell stories, like they're just my stories. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're true, and that is who I am. And like if it sounds douchey or whatever, like I'm not saying be a mean person. I'm a very nice person. Like if you're a stranger, if I'm running into you, whatever, I'm extremely kind. It's not like I'm gonna go out of my way to be an asshole. But like if I'm telling a story, I'm gonna tell it how I want it, and I'm gonna make it funny because that's my personality and that's myself. So I feel like as long as you're not hurting anybody, do your thing, be whoever you want to be, and it's gonna pay off.
Shit, the way that some of my stories work, I'll literally get off the phone with my boy, say it like in a very heinous manner, and then I'll maybe tone it down a little bit for TikTok, keep like the authenticity there, but maybe not so vulgar, and then that'll be the video, right? So if you can really keep it in line with what you would tell the people in your life, I feel like it can't get too inauthentic to who you are, right? Because it's literally what you would be saying in real life, except this time you're pointing your camera towards you and saying it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. And it's also like, okay, I'm posting about specific things. I kind of want to transition into just like my lifestyle. I also post stuff about like, fitness and like how to get better, blah, blah, blah. But it's like the videos that get the most views is like I'm just doing like messages for my boys and like I'll go review them and stuff like that. So I understand how that could characterize me as like, oh, like you're just like a player like this or whatever. But it's like you're just seeing one tiny aspect of my life that I'm shooting for fun in a 3-minute TikTok video throughout my entire day. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that you should take everything that you see on the internet with some sort of 2 cents.
I think it's really hard these days, though, to post on the internet for just fun, which is, I'm kind of like surprised that you said that because, yes, people do get into posting on social media for fun, but I've noticed even at my small size that I face ramifications for what I say all the fucking time. Like legitimately, I've had friends call me, be like, yo, bro, take that shit down. I've had my high school principal contact my parents over stuff that I've said. I've had my university I've had to have a legitimate conversation with my university being like, yo, this is what's going on. Because I know like the way that people are, they're just fucked up enough to send like lies, bullshit, like being like, dude, this dude is doing some crazy shit as complaints to the university. What if that gets me in trouble, right? Even at my internship this summer, within a week and a half, they found out about my social media. It's like, dude, like at what point does fun become like so real to the point where they're like, okay, like, dude, like, luckily I chose an internship where they were chill. They're like, all right, what do you do in your personal life? It's chill as long as you don't mention the company, etc. But there is things that come with this game And you think, oh, I'm not big enough to do that shit yet or deal with all those problems. Dude, they come fast and they come hard too. Like, you'll just be going through your own shit. You get a call like, dude, what the fuck? Like, this is happening. Just like, some of that shit really does weigh in on you. And you're like, dude, like, was it even worth it? Like, why? It is fun, but like, having that influence and then dealing with these crazy problems, I don't know. But that's just been my 2 cents with it.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like, like I am posting for fun because I do find it fun, but also I'm 100% riding this out to the end. Like, I think I can literally do anything, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna post on TikTok and I'm gonna blow the fuck up, and first of all, I'm gonna hit 10,000 followers so I can start making some money, so I can stop being broke as fuck.
Yeah.
All right. And then after that, I'm gonna get 50K in 2 months. And then I'm going to get a brand deal, and I'm just going to start getting free shit from companies just to market, whatever it is, as long as it's good stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to keep leveraging that over and over, and hopefully I want to get into personal training. So it's like, I didn't realize how much of a tool social media is until I started posting, but I am 100% going to see this through. Like, I see people like, bro, it's honestly embarrassing. Like, I see people, their page, oh my God, every day they're posting like 3 different videos. They're getting no views, no nothing. And in the thing, it says, this is a joke. You know what I mean? So like, they don't get looked at as like, oh my God, this person's actually trying, when you clearly are. But if you're going to do it, put everything that you have into it. You know what I mean? And if people like who you are, and if you're 100% authentic, like, I'm 100% sure like you'll take off. Like, if you do anything over and over again, you're bound to get good at it. You know what I mean? You're bound to pick up a following. So, yeah.
I think you have an inflated sense of what you need, bro. Honestly, you can start personal training right now. Also, the brand deal stuff, as soon as you hit 10K, you can get a brand deal that's worth at least $20,000 a year. So it's not as high as you would think. You would need 50K to do it. There's obviously a lot of people on social media aren't savvy. They're not smart. They aren't strategic about what they do. They just scam people out of their money because they're obsessed with quick money, not about sustainable money. So like, thinking about that is important, but it's not size, it's conversion. That's the most important lesson that I've learned. You could have 100K followers and you could have 100 people not give a fuck about you. Like, genuinely, not even 100 people who supposedly follow you do not care about what's going on with you. They will just see a video of you, and be, oh, this dude exists, and then into the ether, which is why you see so many people with so many followers and then suddenly get 0 views, right? They're either making shit content or people don't care about them. So as long as you focus on what people want to watch, you have to find the intersection between what people want to watch and what you want to make, right? Because realistically, if you abandon one of those things, you lose yourself or you lose your audience. And then focus on what is strategic for you. Have a bigger vision for this thing than most people do, and then I'm sure you'll be fine.
No, that's very illuminating, and that's true. That's exactly what I want to do. So I want to segue into just like how to build confidence as a young man, like all these things you can do to improve, and then just do life coaching, like motivational speaking, like personal training. Because I get messages from people that are like, hey, like, I'm like you, like, I'm Indian, like, whatever, like, I'm at this point, or I'm at this point, like, how did you get to where you are? How do you improve? And like, I love to respond to them. I love to help them because, wow, you know what I mean? Like, that makes me feel so good. Like, what an honor it is to be able to be in a position that people respect you, and that they're asking for your help. I think that is such a beautiful thing, to be able to help other people. You know what I mean? Like, somebody's looking up to you for advice. You better give them the best advice that they can, because, it takes so much just for somebody to ask another person for help.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they do it. So I think, this has been great. Like, just the fact that you're, just like you said, you're able to reach so many people that you wouldn't previously be able to speak to, and the impact that you can have on them is lifelong. Like, you never know.
The other thing is, the best thing about social media is it connects you with people that you would have never otherwise met. So like, for example, like, the people who watched my videos that I just had no fucking idea, like, genuinely, it was to a point where, like, I had content creators that I was watching for like maybe 6 months ago that I thought were massive, suddenly watching my videos, wanting to interact with me. the level of success of the people who follow you is also another thing. I literally went on a trip to Mexico with people I had never met before in my life. I didn't even know majority of, like 90% of them I didn't know. I knew one kid that I met off the internet, hyper successful kid. I was like, all right, fuck it. Like this sounds like a fun trip. Let's just do it. So it opens doors in a way that you wouldn't think. It gives you access to talent that you would never have otherwise. And those are all things that most people don't have access to. There's a massive lack of third space for most people, right? They don't know what they're doing with their life and they don't know how to meet new people. But social media immediately, through the things that you're doing, connects you with people like you, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and I think that, like, if you're just blatantly real, people will fall in love with you, bro. Like, this is honestly a heinous example, but one of the reasons I started posting, I don't know if you know Scam Likely.
No, I do not.
I don't know if you see his videos. He posted, and this was just, this is to the complete extreme, but he posted about his trip to Japan, okay? He starts posting, I'm in Japan, and these videos are just more and more insane. He was like, I was talking to this girl, blah, 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 and then he was like, day 7 in Japan, I took a test, I have chlamydia, I have gonorrhea. I was like, oh my fucking God, but this shit, like, I couldn't stop watching, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just putting himself, and then like now he's made so much money. He's going to another country. He's having all his followers like vote on which country he goes to. You know what I mean? And it's like, you can literally just do anything that you fucking want. Like, just be, like, you know what I mean? Just have some sort of personality, and you're good.
Right. Bro, he's collecting fucking STDs like Pokemons and making money.
Dude, it's crazy. I highly suggest you check him out, bro. Like, I have not laughed harder. He did a review. He did a Keith Lee style review of the STDs he had, bro. He was like, I got gonorrhea and chlamydia. It feels like shit. Let's talk about it and rate it 1 through 10. And it was like the most I've ever laughed at a video.
Yeah. I feel you. Dude, honestly, you want to... Dude, did you not see that?
No, I didn't see that.
That's fucking hilarious.
And did you take the bop lore from my TikTok bio and put that in your Instagram bio?
I did not. Do you have bop lore in your Instagram bio? Or
I do have it, and I peeped yours, and I was like, "There's no way."
No, that's kind of insane. But now I feel like it's kind of weird to be matching. It's low key. I've been getting a lot of messages leading up to this stream where people are like, "Bro, y'all gotta kiss." Like, my 2 favorite creators, you gotta like.
Really? People are saying that?
Bro, I've been asked to make an OnlyFans like at least 15 times. Over the last like week, by the way.
But they're saying like my 2 favorite creators that like about me?
I guess so, bro. There was a lot of entertainment. Like I said, I found you off my brother. Low-key got a pull on the younger community, I guess.
Dude, I guess.
The fucking realization is insane.
No, that's crazy. I was talking to this girl because she followed me and then we're DMing, and she was like, yeah, my cousins just came over for like a family reunion, and then she was on TikTok and your video came up and she was like showing me, she was like, look, this guy is so funny. And I'm like, oh my God, like that. And then there was one video that I made, dude, and this was the part where I literally asked her, I was like, what the fuck? Because I only have like, 3,000 followers or something? This girl messaged me, and she hit me up, and she's like, hey, no way this brown dude on Hinge just tried using one of your lines on me. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, that's crazy.
This guy,
I saw that.
You saw that video, right?
Yeah, I did. That's
and
insane.
It wasn't even like the medium ugly line or whatever they I'm for. He said, let's start over, but this time just lie to me, which was one line that was in the middle of another video, some random thing that I just brought up. And then she goes, no way, you follow Hinduhomeboy on TikTok. And I was like, this is actually insane.
I don't think you realized the extent to which like things progress, right? Like, I'm at a point where there's like a unreasonable amount of people who now know where I live in Austin. I've been in Austin for maybe less than a month. So like already privacy concern. I cannot step in, like, I can't be out in Austin for more than an hour, like the city area, without someone coming up and saying something, whether it's hate or love. So it's like,
Really?
Yeah. And that's just like 20K problems. Like that's like such a small number to be dealing with things like that. But it's like it surprisingly adds up.
That's crazy.
It also
Yeah, and
depends on your
like,
demographic as well, right? So I assume you probably attract college age kids as well. Maybe like or like late high school too. So like if you exist in those environments, obviously they're gonna see you in those environments as well.
right. Yeah, that's weird because now it's like, I mean, have you ever thought like if somebody's looking at you weird now, are you thinking like, are they looking at me weird because it's just them, or like, do they have they seen my stuff or something like that? Like, is that a thought in your head?
Yeah, there's more than that. Whenever someone comes up to me or someone looks at me a certain way, my impulse is I want to show people that I'm not like a douchebag, like arrogant asshole who just has a bunch of followers. Because like those are the things that are important, right? Like the perception of you off the internet influences just as much how people like view you, right? So if there's like a super fan or someone who like actually like watches your shit and you're like a little bit because you're not really used to this, right? You're just like just happen to stumble into it and then people just expect you to act a certain way. You have to be very careful about like curating an experience for them when you're around them where they're like, oh, like I really like that dude, I appreciate him giving the time. It's something as little as like introducing yourself when they come up to you, right? They're like, yo, are you Ace off TikTok? I'm like, yeah. Like, oh, you watch the videos, bro? By the way, my name's Ace, what's your name, right? Just the simple thing of like being a normal human being on top of being recognized is something that is important. I don't know. I went all PR there, but like it's something that I've been thinking about a lot.
Yeah. No, I understand. That's crazy. I did not think that. I didn't think that people would recognize you until you had like maybe like 1 million followers or something like that. You know what I mean? So like, also I don't really know how the algorithm works. I don't know if it's pushing the people around me or what's going on like in the whatever area I'm in,
Right.
or you know what I mean? Like I don't know exactly how it works. So
I mean, my shit has been hub city. So when I went to DC for one of my classes, I got like stopped in middle of the metro by someone. And then in Austin, like I just think because there's a lot more Indians here at the UT Austin campus, it just makes sense that I've been recognized more. Because I would say like about 60%, maybe even 55% of my audience is probably Indian, reasonably. So just depends on where your demographic exists.
yeah. That's crazy. So do you want to take your stuff in a certain direction, or
Yeah.
what is your end goal here?
My end goal is I've always wanted to do content creation. I didn't know the facet that I was going to do it. And then in high school, or not in high school, at the beginning of college, I saw TikTok, specifically like people talking about like their life, what they've been through. I think like there was this stage for me where I would meet girls and like absolutely lie. Like just be like, create like a whole different persona just for fun. And then I started to realize like, bro, my life, at least the way that it's been lived, is already so crazy that if I just told people the truth, it already wouldn't make sense. So I was like, all right, like if it's already interesting enough in real life, then surely seeing some of the people that are posting on the internet and making it, I can do it too. There's no way I can't do it. And then that became an addiction. Like I legitimately, I feel so passionately about social media and like sharing the things that I'm going through, like creating content. Those are all things that I really, really want to do underneath everything else. So I just started taking it more seriously.
Yeah. And it's just like, why not you? You know what I mean? Like, that's when I was watching these videos of just like people breaking down stuff or just talking, like they're funny. And I'm like, I think I'm funny. You know what I mean? Like why can't I do that?
Right.
And you just never really know until you try. And I think that everybody should at least try.
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
the freedom as well. So like where I'm at right now, I could live in a place like Thailand and Brazil very comfortably, right? So that in and of itself is fulfilling enough for me to be like, okay, like this can really go somewhere. The fact that I
Through
can,
social media?
yeah, based off of like,
Like, where does your revenue come from?
I would say about like 40% comes off of TikTok's like program directly, and then the other ones comes with consultations, brand partnerships, so like companies that I'm advising or potential like future brand endorsements is about 60%.
So what companies are you advertising?
So I shouldn't probably mention too much of this, but there are
Well, are you advertising that?
so the advertising portion is soon. I didn't want to be like too forthright about the companies that I was doing before I had like a good grasp of the companies that I was going to work with. So on the company advertising front, it'll start about next month. But a majority of my revenue has been made off of consultation with companies, because in the past I also had a TikTok account where I was very successful in talking to a lot of famous TikTokers, etc. So I really understand the way that conversion works for TikTok, social media, marketing, etc. So I advise startups strategically on how to spend their media dollars, and that's how I've been making money. If that makes sense.
Okay. All right. No, I understand. So have you been banned on TikTok before?
Yeah, but like the account that I was posting shit on, it was just very different than what I'm doing now. I was in high school. I was dumb. I wasn't really talking about my life either, because like, you know, you're in fucking high school. What is there to talk about?
Yeah, because I think I'm gonna get banned. I'm not sure. I've been getting a lot of community guidelines on stuff that doesn't really make sense to me. Like I'm just talking.
Have you
I don't know.
appealed it?
Like what's up?
You tried appealing it?
I appealed one of them got down. It got taken down for some like nudity or something, but it was literally like above my neck, so I wasn't sure. So then I appealed it, and after the appeal, they took it down for hate speech because I said fat shaming works. You know what I mean? And then I go into a story about myself, and then they took it down for hate speech. And there's also 2 videos from like over 4 years ago that I posted, like a 15-second music joke video with my friend. Something about, you know, blah, blah, blah. It got community guidelines. So I already have like 3, and I got another one taken down today. And I don't even understand for what. Like, it was literally a video of me reviewing this guy's DM, and I was like, hey, listen, bro, like, you just got to stop wasting your time. You got to just hop on the phone with them, like, make it really quick. So I'm not really sure what they're getting taken down for. So
it sounds like someone is fucking with you. Like someone is reporting your shit intentionally.
No, because it doesn't even clear to get posted. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know what you're saying. So it says under review as soon as you post it, and it never gets out of review.
It's through the percentages.
Yeah.
Right? It finally gets to 100%. As soon as it gets to 100%, community guidelines violation.
Oh, like it doesn't even like when you put it out, it's not like can't share, it's under review right now. It immediately is like community. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Does it give you the option to type out like a written appeal?
I think it does. I'm not sure. But this video anyway, I was going to delete it. And that's like the silly thing. I was going to delete it because I was just going to reapply. I forgot to put captions on it or whatever. So it's just going to delete it right after I put it out. But the second I put it out, it was a community guideline strike. And then I had already deleted it. So I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, that's just... I don't know how they navigate through that. I don't know how exactly that works, but like I probably have to make like a backup soon.
That's a good idea. You should A, make a backup, but B, also start typing out acknowledgments. Like when you're like dealing with an appeal, specifically say I did not violate the community guidelines first, and then explain, because like the words do make a difference. The other thing is that they're unwilling. They'll be more strict on you the more guidelines that you get. So like once you start getting a rep of not getting as many guidelines, you'll be in the clear. But for right now, what you need to do is make sure like you're very much appealing every video that you can. Don't delete any videos that you got strikes on, because like that doesn't help you either. It actually aggravates the algorithm a little bit. I used to deal with strikes a lot in my old account because I used to do things that probably weren't TikTok's friendly. But the thing that helped me navigate it for so long was appealing it properly and then like not deleting the videos.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna try that then.
Yeah, it's also bullshit, right? You don't really get views if you get your shit under review. It could be worse. Like realistically, if it doesn't immediately take down your video, it shadow bans your video. So it's like this video is under review for like 45 minutes. And it will get 0 views, and then by the time that it gets out of review, it just doesn't get any views. It's like, bro. Like,
see, I thought the exact same thing. I actually experienced like the complete opposite of that yesterday. I posted a video, and it said it wasn't stricken down. It wasn't a community guidelines. It just wasn't eligible for like the For You feed.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what the fuck? So then I appealed it. And then an hour ago, or I appealed it like 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
And then the appeal got reversed and started getting a shit ton of views. And then I got like, I think like 60,000 views yesterday.
And that
So,
happens sometimes too, for sure.
Yeah. It's just kind of annoying to try to deal with, like, it's supposed to be like a free speech platform. I don't know why I'm getting cock blocked.
Tell me about it. I mean, I don't think you're gonna start posting to Instagram, but the common cope from people on social media is like, dude, like my Instagram's doing so good now, my TikTok. I don't know what happened. The algorithm sucks. If the algorithm sucks or your videos aren't doing well, you aren't making good videos. Just genuinely, that's the issue. It's not that the algorithm sucks or anything like that. So even when I don't get views, I refuse to be like, oh my god, the TikTok algorithm. Well, how fucking heinous. Like, no, you just didn't make a good video.
But it's like when I know a video should be getting more, you know what I mean? Like when I assess like the likes to views ratio,
right?
And I just know something's off.
If it's more than 10%, then something is off, right? Like if
that's
you
the
have
thing. It's
10%,
like I posted a video. It has like what 1,300 likes and only 9,000 views.
Yeah, that video was it struck somewhere. It stagnated, but it shouldn't have. If that makes sense. Like if a video has 900 likes, then it should, or if it has 1,300 likes, then it should be at least at 13K views. At least.
I don't know if it was like longer. It was like a 4-minute long video or what, but
that's something I don't understand, which is that how longer videos function. Because I know if you go slightly above a minute, so like you want to be ideally when you want to get monetized between like 1 minute and 1 second, 1 minute and 2 seconds, because that's the sweet spot in which it gets pushed. If you get to like 1 minute and 5 seconds, you start noticing that your views dramatically drop. But then if you record like an ultra long video, it's like extremely hit or miss, right? So it's either insane views or you get 0 views.
Really? Okay, because most of my videos are around like 2 minutes, like 2.5 minutes long. Like that's the length that I've been posting.
And honestly, they've been doing pretty good too, right? I think it's because TikTok has started pushing like they recently allowed you to post like an hour's worth of video on their platform. So I think that they might be pushing like severely longer. And also like once you do get monetized, videos that long also have better RPMs on them. RPMs as in like rate per million, right?
Right.
So if you want to continue doing that, I'd say that's not a bad idea. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was really thinking about that. The crazy thought? Question mark?
What?
I said you really had to sit on that for a second.
Yeah, because I just wasn't sure, like, I was kind of worried about my account getting banned. I'm like, I got so attached to it, over the past 2 weeks. I was like, oh my God, it's my baby. Like, I can't get it taken down so quick.
You wouldn't fucking believe, bro. The way that TikTok works now is nothing like it used to work back in 2020. I posted one video in 2020 and it got my account all the way to 10K immediately.
Really?
That's like the way that TikTok worked before, but now you actually have to build up an audience and shit like that. So I'd create a second account for sure.
Really?
Yeah. Post I don't know how often you post, but just split it up.
Okay.
Right? Like if you're gonna post 2 videos on your main, just post 1 on your spam. Because like at your size, it doesn't really matter where you're posting. You could just repost through your main, and people on your main would see it anyway. So who cares?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah. I think I'll start doing that.
Yeah. I mean, anything else? I mean, I was thinking about the shot shaping shit, but you low-key have. I only plan for 2 hours. I don't want to drag out a stream too because it might make it like, I don't know, boring for us or something like that. But I'm chilling.
I think I'm good. I mean, that was good. I mean, it was great talking to you. Great learning. So I appreciate your insight.
Of course, man. Nice meeting you. Feel free to DM me whenever. I'm excited to see what you do. Shot shaping shit is funny as fuck.
Sounds good, bro.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll catch you later.
All right, take care.